How do young men like us, who didn't listen to society, who are on our own, how do we grow and improve ourselves so that we can live a better tomorrow? That is the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is James Radzinski, and this is the Ascend Momentum Show. So, I want to tell you guys a story that I heard from Myron Byron, I think. Myron Golden, my fault. So, it was in your first funnel challenge, the extra day, the celebration, and there were two, so I'm just going to get into the story. There were two eagles, and they were pregnant, so they decided to build a nest, and they laid their eggs in the nest, and then the birds were hatched. Every day they would come to the bird to feed them food, and then the birds would say, "Hey, Mom and Dad, can you teach us how to fly?" The mom would say, "No, maybe tomorrow." This repeated for 15, 20 days. Then on the 20th day, the bird was like, "Hey, Mom and Dad, can you teach us how to fly?" And then they were like, "Sure, tomorrow is the first lesson." So tomorrow rolls around, and the first one gets on the mom's back. And so they start flying up, and the mom starts flying up higher and higher, and then the kid is like, "Higher, higher, higher," because he's so excited. And then the mom swoops around and drops the kid. The kid is falling, screaming, crying, like, "Oh, I'm falling, like I'm gonna die." And then the mom suddenly, right before he lands on the ground, swoops up and catches the bird. And so the bird comes back to the nest and says, like, "Don't, this is crazy, don't do it." And so the mom forces all the rest to do it, the same thing. And so the next day rolls around, and they're all like, "No, we're not doing this." But the mom forces them to, and they continue to have flight lessons like this same way every single day, and it's super scary, and they feel like they're going to die every day. And then on the 20th day, the bird flies. The mom takes the bird all the way up, drops it like usual, and then suddenly the wind catches its wing perfectly, and then he starts gliding, and then so he flies back. He's able to fly back to the nest on his own. And so he finally achieved flight, the goal that he was chasing. And so the learning curve for learning how to fly, eagles learning how to fly, is not just straight upwards. It's actually a U. You have to drop down and before you'll be able to fly up. And so that's the learning curve. That's just the learning curve for everything. You have to fall down before you're able to climb back up. And birds succeed 100% of the time in learning how to fly. But humans only succeed 3% of the time. Why is that? Because we have choice. So many of us choose not to act, and we choose not to fall before we can rise again. So that's something that I learned today. Today was a very long day for me. I've been on my computer from 10 until right now, and it's 4:47. Super tired. I was watching the webinar all day long. And once I'm done with this webinar, which I have like one more thing tomorrow of 2 hours, I am done with the computer of watching videos. I'm going to get my studying from reading. I'm really stressed out right now because my sister got home, and she's like right above me, and I get a lot of anxiety, and I don't want my family members to see my work, and so I'm just talking quietly on my podcast, talking to you guys, and my sister's like right there. And if you guys have read the book Reality Transurfing, I'm rereading it again, and I 100% recommend you read it and read it and read it. And I'm taking into notice that people can be pendulums also, and pendulums can act through people, and so that's why I actually don't know why I'm nervous right now. So today I contacted 5 more people, and I have not gotten any response back from anyone yet. Not from the 5 people now, and not from the 5 people from yesterday. And it is Saturday, so hopefully they'll respond back on Monday. But I'm going to contact 5 more new people every single day until I find work. And what I'm doing is I'm going to basically build them a funnel. I'm finding local businesses and local brick and mortar businesses and emailing them or calling them and seeing if I can build them a funnel. And right now I'm just doing it for the learning experience, to see, just so I can learn how to do it, learn the process, and then I'll be able to sell it. And hopefully the first one goes well, and I get a testimonial, and maybe even a tip. But right now I'm just doing it for the learning experience. And while I'm doing it, I'm maintaining my routine of studying expert secrets every day and meditating and all this other stuff. But that's what I learned in Garrett J. White's part of the 30 Days book, the core 4, which the only one that I remember is meditating. Oh man, I'm so nervous right now. I'm so sorry for you guys. This is a really bad episode. My sister's like right up there, and I just, you know what? Screw this, bro. Screw this. Okay, I'm awake. Let's freaking do this thing. Okay, so what did I learn today? I just learned something, and that I need to remember what I've learned. So last night I read something in Transurfing. Right now I'm only in like the first 50 pages or so, and he was introducing like pendulums and stuff, which are just actually, I am going to explain it to you because that's the best way to see if you actually understand it. A pendulum is something that is formed when people think. So when a group of people think of the same thing, a pendulum is formed, and it's like a separate structure. And it's like an energy-based structure. And then it goes on its own, and then it tries and gets more adherents, which are just like followers, basically. And it can zap, like it can suck people in through their emotions, through many different things. And all pendulums are bad, but you don't have to avoid them. It's actually impossible to break free from all pendulums. But yeah, I don't really understand it that much, even though I've read the whole book. That's why I'm rereading it again. It's a really complicated concept to to understand, and it's tough to explain it simply, but pretty much they fight for adherence, and then when you're thinking about it, you lose your energy to it, so it steals your energy. And it's best to just accept that it exists and then go on with your day. Like, accept that it exists, but don't accept it into your world. Just accept it, that it exists, and then just walk on indifferently. So that's huge. One thing I want to teach you guys is when you're meditating, when you're doing your nightly meditation, I like to have a 20-minute journaling session beforehand, and it's huge. Journaling has been so... I only have been journaling for the past month and 3 days, maybe. Like, consistently for the past month and 3 days. And it's... I 100% recommend it because I'm able to keep myself on target and on track. And what I do is I made these questions up on my own, so I recommend you guys make your own questions up that you ask yourself every day. But my questions, I started with 2, and then I moved on to 3, and then 4, and then last night I added 2 more. The first one is, what did I do today to move towards my goals? The second one is this actually helping, or am I just distracting myself? The third one is, am I doing enough to move towards my goals? And the fourth one is, what should I do tomorrow? Like my critical task, and I also remind myself of my new routine additions. So I write down to remind myself to do a podcast, to record 3 videos, and to email 5 new people on my Dream 100 list. And then on the new addition that I added last night, and I just added this because I started studying expert secrets, and I'm starting to actually study now. Before I was reading books just to read them and learn from them, but now I'm actually sitting down and studying them, which I recommend both, because I was reading them and trying to learn. I guess I was always studying, but now I'm actually having a set amount of time daily to study expert secrets. And pretty much what I'm just reading it. I'm not really studying it, but the studying comes at nighttime is what I realized. And I read it right when I get home from the gym in the morning around 7:30 for 30 minutes. And then at nighttime, right before I go to bed, the 5th question that I ask myself in my journal is, what did I learn in my studies for Expert Secrets, the book that I read in my morning studies? And then I write down what I learned. So last night I learned that you have to, I was just reading the first part, and the first part was in order to build a movement, you have to have an expert/guide, which is the leader, and then a new opportunity, which is the vehicle, and then a future-based cause, which is the result. And the leader uses the new vehicle. The leader guides the dream customer to the future-based cause through the vehicle. So, and then the 5th question, or the 6th question that I ask myself in my journaling is, what did I learn in my nighttime learning study session, which at nighttime I study reality transurfing. And yesterday, I talked about this earlier, but yesterday I learned that I have to remember. I have to remember what I've learned in reality transurfing. And I'm going to give you guys one of the biggest things that I've learned in reality transurfing, and what you need to you won't be able to like build this skill or habit or whatever it is unless you read the book. You won't be able to get it by listening. You might be able to have some success, but if you truly want to change your mind, I always love reading because you morph your mind into what that author wants you to get. So you like build those new channels in your mind. And that's why rereading it strengthens those channels and then adds more of those mini channels that the author gets. Like the first time you read the book, you build maybe the trunk, you get the main idea. And then the second time you start to branch out and build the thicker branches. And then the third time you read it, you make the twigs. And then the fourth time you make the leaves. It's not that, maybe, I don't know. It's probably like closer to 10 times to be able to make the full tree. Probably more, to be honest, but that's just an example. And if you read Transurfing, you'll learn this one huge thing, and it's to stay awake. And once you read Transurfing, you'll learn what that actually means. But pretty much it means that it's just a game. Life is just a game, and you should not get absorbed into it. You do not get absorbed. Don't play the game. Be a viewer. Be a bystander. Don't play the game. Watch the game from the sideline while still participating in the game. What I mean is that so many people let life live them. They don't live life on purpose. They live it on accident. They live life accidentally, and they just let life pass them by. And so, on the day-to-day, what that looks like is a pendulum pops up, and then they get sucked in, and they end up doing exactly what the pendulum wants them to do, not their own free will. So what Transurfing has taught me is to stay awake and live life on purpose. Live life purposefully. Do things on purpose. And don't just let life pass me by. And when I first read it, I instantly woke up, but then I fell back asleep. And then I kept on reminding myself to wake up. And so today, now I'm even more awake than I was back then. But I'm still not awake enough. I want to be awake 100% of the day. And one of the ways to do that is to practice mindfulness and focus on your breath all the time. Be conscious of your breathing. Consciously breathe. So, my business plan. Here, to wrap things up, let me just explain the lessons today. Today's lessons. What were today's lessons? The learning curve is there for a reason. Because without it, we wouldn't be able to fly. And then, what was the other thing? I taught, just stay awake. Stay awake. So, I'm going to tell you guys my business plans moving forward. I'm going to maintain my daily routine of recording 3 TikToks and 1 podcast, and then and that's it. That's all I'm doing for my business. I'm just trying to provide you guys as much value as possible, and I'm actually, if you guys want to go to the self-improvement guidebook.com, then go for it. But I'm gonna stop sending you guys there because I realize that I have to start providing you guys a lot of value before you guys can actually trust me. So I'm gonna go in on providing you guys value, and while I'm doing that, it works out perfectly because while I'm doing that, I'm actually growing myself because I'm becoming a better speaker using this podcast. And also, while I'm doing that, I'm going to add to my daily routine, which I have added yesterday and today, is to get into contact with 5 new people on my Dream 100 list. So my current... Wait, I just realized I've never explained to you guys what the Dream 100 list is. The Dream 100 list is your list of 100 people, or more or less, it doesn't really matter, it's just the name. Your list of 100 people who, if you're in contact with them, they will help you, who have the capabilities of letting you achieve your goals. So if you were selling high ticket items, your Dream 100 list would be 100 people of your dream customers, and then you would just sell to them. But if you were selling like smaller items, or most people, if you're like most people selling not $1 million products, then your Dream 100 list would be the people who own or control the traffic. Excuse me, I just sneezed. The Dream 100 people would be the people who control, who basically have your dream customers congregated already. So that would be, let's say, it would be like influencers, like YouTubers, TikTokers, and then you would try and get into contact with them so you could gain access to their viewers. But my Dream 100 right now is local brick and mortar businesses, and I am trying to get into contact with them so that I can build them a funnel. And this will be a huge learning thing for me, and it'll be my first thing where I'm actually taking action. And I feel like it'll actually propel me forward into entrepreneurship, because right now I'm using the fact that I'm not 18 as an excuse to not really make any moves in entrepreneurship. So this bites it in the butt, so I can start to learn the skills before I actually apply it to my business. So there's one thing that I realized, and it's entrepreneurship really makes you the man. Like, I'm growing so much more as long as I keep pushing forward and taking action. And the growth, if you're an entrepreneur, the growth is, I think that it's the most that you can ever have. I'm just hearing all these success stories of people making it, like making all the money that they need in life in 1 year, less than a year. I really believe that I can do that too. I feel like I'm on the right lifeline. I'm just trying to document my journey. But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really made any big money mover. You know what? I haven't made any big money mover steps in the right direction yet. I've just been making incremental steps. Tomorrow I'm going to email 20 people. Not 5, screw that. I'm emailing 20 people tomorrow. I'm going to write it down right now. Email 20 people on my Dream 100 list so that I can get a response. Email 20 Dream 100. I'm not stopping until I get one client. And then once I get that one client, I'll be able to work with them and my journey begins. That'll be the first difficult thing that I do in entrepreneurship. Going to their business and building something for them. That'll be the first real entrepreneur move that I've done. So far I've just been doing tiny scaredy cat moves. And right now I'm just screwing over my future family. I'm screwing over my future wife. I'm screwing over my future kids. I'm screwing over myself by not making action, not taking enough action. I have to be relentless. I have to be relentless. Man, all of this stuff, it's so difficult. But I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I have all of these thoughts running through my mind that I can't do it. I'm too scared. But I'm in the same position you're in. I am so scared of doing all this stuff. And the only reason why I'm podcasting right now is because I spent 14 days straight practicing on my own without uploading. And then after the 15th day, I finally built up the balls to upload. And so I'm extremely scared. But you know what? If I change my mindset, if I focus all of my energy on being intentional with my mind and my thoughts and my thinking, then I will be successful. It starts with the mind. My mind is holding me back. I keep on reminding myself, oh, I can't do this. I'm too scared. Why am I scared? Why? None of this stuff matters. I'll die and no one will remember anything because I'm not doing anything. And even if I did do something, no one even remembers. Life does not even matter. So why am I so scared? It's because society has trained us to keep us down. And we need to be intentional about our thinking and change our thinking first to be able to counter what society has taught us and to prevail and to live a better life than society lets us live. Society has molded our brains to keep us down. We're being held down by society. So while I'm doing podcasting and videos and stuff, I'm actually growing so much more now because I'm teaching you guys things. And I'm not sure if I'll upload this video, but I made a TikTok. It's in my drafts about that eagle story that I told you at the beginning of this episode. And I actually drew it out just like how that speaker drew it out. And I am learning so much more. I'm being able to understand so much more where I'm lacking in knowledge and where I actually understand, So if you guys just, while you're learning books, do a 5-minute daily podcast just in your voice memos. You don't even have to upload it. Just teach someone on your voice memos on your phone what you learned that day in reading. And I never did that until I started this podcast. And I actually find that it's extremely beneficial for me and for you because I can teach you guys what I learned, and also it strengthens my own learning all of that. So with that, that's going to be the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.